While President Trump unveiled the Republicans' highly anticipated tax plan yesterday, painting so-called broad strokes of the proposal, the plan still provides a very murky picture of what the specific income level breakdowns are, as well as how Congress intends to pay for it. Republican Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona joining us live. And Congressman, welcome. I would say let the great debate and the horse trading begin on this, but we don't even have the keys to the padlock yet on the paddock on some of these broad strokes. With the skinny bundle tax brackets, I want to start with that. Do you have any sense of who by income, because Gary Cohn just said he doesn't yet, fits into which bracket? 12%? Am I 35%? Am I 25%?
Well, that is the most frequently asked question of our House retreat yesterday. And we're working on that question because the goal, of course, is to make sure that every American has a rate reduction. I know there's going to be people that are currently in the 10% bracket that are going to be basically in a 0% bracket because we're doubling the standard deduction of up to $24,000. So that's going to actually move a lot of people out of paying any taxes at all. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to fit a lot of people probably in that 25% bracket that are above that.
So let me push, because I know my viewers are asking the same thing. If you made $200,000 or less, do you then get to fit into the 25%? Give us a sense.
Well, the sense is that you're probably looking at somewhere up to in the 35% bracket, somewhere between maybe 150, 175 to 400,000. Now, I'm speculating because this is wide open. It's being discussed. It's being debated. So it's really difficult for me to say, like, if you make $200,000 bucks, you're going to pay 25%.
That so-called fourth bracket that we still haven't gotten a lot of detail on, could you take a shot at that one? And I know, again, it's not 100%. You have to vote with a lot of other congressmen and women, but that extra couple of percentage points in that so-called fourst bracket, 5 million, 10 million in income?
No, I think that they were talking more like 1 million in income, but the reality is, we're still so far early in this process with regard to those fine details. Mm-hmm. But I would say that people are saying anywhere $1 million, $1.5 million or something like that would move to this fourth bracket, if we even create a fourth bracket. Because right now you're looking at those three brackets, 12, 25, and 35. And then on the higher income folks, there's going to be a reduction in the exemptions and the deductions so much that the idea is not to give them a windfall, but to be fair to everybody and focus on that middle class.
Well, of course, but some of those higher income people live in your state. I mean, Arizona is an incredible state. A lot of wealthy retirees and not so wealthy retirees go there. They don't have a lot of income. It's not just New York or California. Would you push back on the elimination of the state and local tax deductions?
I don't think that is really something that I'm going to push back hard on, because I think that you're lowering the rates for most of the people in Arizona right off the top there by pushing probably a lot of people into the 25% bracket, and that's what I see happening. You're keeping the main couple of deductions, you know, mortgage interest, you're keeping the charitable interest. So I don't think that's going to be the hill necessarily to die on.
Well, how about a hill or a mountain of debt that we have and a deficit? How are we going to pay for this beyond what the so-called dynamic scoring shows? Stephen Mnuchin said today, I think, to Bloomberg, it'll pay for itself. That's hard for a lot of people to believe, especially with the tax cut under President George W. Bush that sunsetted after a certain amount of time. People took that money and they did not spend it. It turned out that they saved it or paid down debt. Can you really be sure that suddenly the economy, I believe it does, but I know people are asking, can you be sure that the economy will suddenly have some rocket fuel to it versus basic diesel?
Great question. I happen to believe that when the people get to keep more of their money, they use it more wisely, more efficiently, which actually stirs economic activity, which actually produces more tax revenue. We've seen it under President Kennedy. We saw it under President Reagan. And I'll tell you this, we should do something with capital gains in this plan, too, because when we do that, that is one guaranteed over 80 years of experience there. That really stimulates the economy and actually brings money in. We know this. And so I'm a big believer in that. I have faith and trust in it. And I believe that 3% is going to be the low end. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 3.5%, 4%, or even 5%, which was not abnormal in growth.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see the pitched battles over this one. You know, our apologies to Ben Franklin, but I think he said that democracy is two wolves and a lamb trying to vote on what to have for lunch. And you'd think that the lamb might lose out on that, but the lamb is sort of armed with a big vote on this, so we shall see.
Yeah.